welcome back. Hope everyone is having a good week so far. This is Melissa. Welcome to the channel if you are new. Today is Shot Day Tuesday update. So today is April 29th, 2025. I have my notes down here, so if you see me looking down, I just want to make sure that I cover everything that I wanted to chat about today. So I took my third dose today of 13.5 of compounded Tirzepatide. I've been on compound medication since March 2024, and for a month prior to that, February 1st, 2024, I was on Zepbound. I switched over to compound. There was a huge cyber hack or break-in of the savings card system, and they weren't sure when they were going to get it taken care of, and I had just started my weight loss journey, so I switched over to compound and been on compound ever since. So I'm going to talk about weigh-in. Friday's weigh-in was 266.4. Today's weigh-in is 267.1, so I have gained 0.7. I'm not upset about that, and I'll tell you why. Normally on shot day, I weigh quite a few pounds more. It could be anywhere from 1.5, it could be up to 3 to 3.5. I'm not upset about this one because I've been feeling different changes since Friday. So I've been feeling a little bit like my stomach may be a little bit smaller in the front when I'm sitting. It doesn't seem to be as sticking out. And then on the sides of my stomach, it also seems to not be so prominently kind of humped out like this. It's more kind of getting like this. So there are some changes. I was hoping for not a gain. I was hoping for, just a little bit less than the 266.4, but given how my previous weigh-ins have been on Tuesdays, and it's significantly a lot more, I will totally take this as a win. So as you all know, my goal is to kind of get out of the 260s. I've been bouncing in the 260s probably for at least about 3 months or so. I seem to be that way every time I go through a 10-pound increment. So it took me forever to get out of the 270s, and now I'm finally in the 260s, but it's just kind of, waxing and waning a little bit. So I would love to get to 260 at this point, and then go into 255 as my next marker. So I really just want to get out of the upper 260s and kind of keep going down. I would love to lose at least another 60 or so pounds to get to 200. That's really far off for me right now. I don't like to look at the overall picture because I want to make sure that it's attainable to me currently. So I'm just trying to focus right now on the small things and small increments of weight loss. So that is kind of where my mindset is with that. I hope to lose more than, go under the 200-pound mark. I would love to be that. I don't know if it's possible, but I will certainly give it my best. And dealing with insulin resistance makes a lot of sense now of why it is so hard for my body to get rid of this weight and to keep it off. Sorry, I seem to have a frog in my throat this morning, which reminds me, we all need to take our sips. So take a sip if you have your drink with you. If you don't, go get one. Okay, so with insulin resistance, I'm still looking into that to try to get rid of the stubborn belly fat. I have started taking a apple cider vinegar tablet every morning. It is just like a vitamin. It's not a gummy or anything like that. It smells very potent and strong, but I'm also hoping that that will kind of help insulin resistance, the belly fat. It also has a lot of other health benefits to it. So if I can get rid of some of the medication and put in more vitamins that are good for me, I will totally take that. So, non-scale victories for this past week. I feel like walking up the stairs has been quite a bit easier for the most part. I do have some knee issues from time to time, also depending on the weather. I have patellar maltracking, so it's like where my knee and the kneecap don't really align very well. So sometimes I get a pain right there in the middle of my kneecap, but this week overall, I felt like I can just go up the stairs really easily, and I'm not like, oh God, just one more step. So I will definitely take that as a win. Every day that something is different for the better is a win. So don't discount yourself. If you have some little wins and maybe you're not recognizing them, don't forget to count them, because I mean, even if it doesn't happen every day, it's a win, and you want to take that win and you want to celebrate it, right? Because this is part of the journey. So non-weight goal update. We've been talking the last 2 to 3 updates about hydration and sleep. And hydration to me is very important as a bariatric patient. Most of you know, because I talk about it. So hard to get in the fluids anyway. I get very dehydrated very easily. Even though a drink will be sitting next to me, I forget to drink, or it's just not in my line of sight to even pay attention. We're going to take another sip. All right, so I'm going to continue with the hydration, and I'm going to continue working on sleep. Sleep for me has been not something where I say I'm going to go an hour earlier to bed. Mine has been like, oh, okay, I've made it to bed 20 minutes before I normally do. That's a win. We're going to take those wins. Like I just said, everything you do, no matter how small, is a win. Even if it doesn't happen every day, take it, because you're making progress. Whether you feel like you are or aren't, you are making progress. And when I was making the notes for today, it was really hard for me to consider that a win. And I thought, you know what? It is, because 20 minutes extra sleep is awesome. And then the next time it may be 30 minutes extra, or one day it's, an hour earlier. No matter what it is, you are working towards that goal. And that is what we want, right? And not every day is going to be a day where you can go to bed early. Not every day are you going to be able to get in that protein or your fluids. But every little step towards that goal, count it. So, hydration, we're continuing the hydration. And I wanted to read something about a habit. So this is from, I'll put this link in the chat for you guys in the comments. This is written by James Clear. He's behavioral psychology for habits. And he talks about how first the 21-day habit came into play. So I won't go into that really, but people really ran with that, and more, it was a suggestion. And it says in here that it made sense why the 21-day myth would spread. It's easy to understand. The time frame is short enough to be inspiring, but long enough to be believable. And it says, and who wouldn't like the idea of changing your life in just 3 weeks? But the problem is, the guy that originated this, his name's Maxwell Maltz, was simply observing what was going on around him and wasn't making a statement of fact. Therefore, he made sure to say that this was the minimum amount of time needed to adapt to a new change. So what's the real answer? It says, how long does it take to form a habit? Is there any science to back this up? And what does it mean for us? So Philippa Lally is a health psychology researcher at University College of London. In a study published in the European Journal of Psychology, Lally and her research team decided to see how long it would take to form a habit. So they examined the habits of 96 people over a 12-week period, and each person chose one new habit for the 12 weeks and reported each day on whether they or did not do the behavior and how automatic the behavior felt. So it says some people chose simple habits like drinking a bottle of water with lunch. That's a good goal. If you don't have a goal or you're working on hydration, that's a good goal. Others chose more difficult tasks like running for 15 minutes before dinner. At the end of the 12 weeks, the researchers analyzed the data to determine how long it took each person to go from starting a new behavior to automatically doing it. And what was that answer? It says On an average, it takes more than 2 months before a new behavior becomes automatic. 2 months. So it says 66 days to be exact. And how long it takes a new habit to form can depend very widely on the behavior of the person and the circumstances. In the study, it took anywhere from 18 days to 254 days for those people to form a new habit. So this is just kind of saying, you want to set your expectations appropriately, and it will take you anywhere realistically from 2 to 8 months to build a new behavior in your life. And of course, the smaller the habit, I think it's going to be easier to obtain. So like the person that ended up doing a bottle of water with lunch, that is a little bit easier of a habit to get into than running 15 minutes before dinner, I would think. So I will let you read the rest. I don't want to keep going here, but I wanted to read that to you guys because I thought that was very interesting. So the 21-day thing is kind of a myth, but it does make sense for about 2 months to make a habit. And what I'm just trying to do here with my goals, even though I'm keeping it the same the last 3 weeks, I just want to be consistent with it and make sure it's just automatic for me, just like it was for them, before I move on to another goal that I want to achieve. And those are my non-weight goals, not my weight goal. So make sure you have your weight goals. I would break them into small increments. It's easier because you get to celebrate the wins too. And who doesn't want to do that? And then have your non-weight goals. What do you want to achieve? Make them small and obtainable, and then build on those. So the first thing could be, I want to be able to go walking in a store or shop for 20 minutes without feeling fatigued, or without my knees hurting, or like I have to sit down. That could be a small goal. And the next thing could be something bigger. So just think about those. I would love to know if you have those goals, a weight goal and a non-weight goal. If you want to put it down in the comments, I would love to see it. I would love to help celebrate with you. Keep me updated on those because I'm keeping you updated, and I just love to hear about everyone's journey. I want to cheer you on too. So I think another thing with the hydration that I've realized this week especially is, by the way, let's drink real quick. So we're going to have another sip because I'm going to push these fluids. You're going to push these fluids. We're going to do it together. Okay. Another reason I've really loved being hydrated this week, and that I've discovered with it, pushing the more fluids, is it has helped keep me more satisfied during the day. And when I'm drinking, it's filling you up. And I'm like, oh, I'm not really that hungry. I've had my drinks and hydrated, and it does help keep you full. So especially on shot day and a few days after, I usually will do 1 bottle of electrolytes a day. And that's just something I do. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a medical professional. Please do with my advice and suggestions what you will, but always consult your healthcare provider. I feel like the few days with shot day and several days after are really important because we're not getting in as much food and nutrition as we would normally do when it's, half-life of our medication. So I want to make sure that I'm getting those electrolytes in. I always take my vitamins, but you want to make sure that you are doing something to kind of get your fluids in, but you're also replacing some things. So I do have an electrolyte that I like. It's not overly sweet. It is more on the salty side, which I like. And it has magnesium and potassium in it, as well as the sodium. And usually one of those a day in a 16-ounce bottle of water is perfect. And sometimes I'll notice I'm getting a headache. I do have chronic migraines. They're usually kept at bay by my maintenance medication that I use. But sometimes with the weather, I'll get another breakthrough migraine, or I'll get a headache. And those days, sometimes I'm assessing like, okay, how much have I had to drink? Have I really drank that much? And I will go and have an electrolyte, and I feel much better later. So just food for thought. The emoji of the day that we're going to talk about today is actually a face. So I would love for you to put a face emoji of how you are feeling this week. Let me know in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, comment, everything you do. It helps boost the channel up to more people that are going through this journey. I love to meet new people going through this process, and I want to help and encourage others as well. So thank you so much for being here and for supporting me. I appreciate it, and I sincerely do appreciate it. I hope you have a wonderful, fantastic week. We will talk Friday. Take care of yourself.